Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new West Bromwich Albion podcast with myself, Joshua Wild.
And myself, Matt Wild.
Yeah. This is new, as I said, a new podcast. I'm here with my dad. We're recording this for a bit of fun during the lockdown, and also going forward, we'll be hopefully carrying this on for as long as possible. We're going to be talking all things West Brom and other football things that are happening in the current world, and more specifically the Premier League. We're calling it Talk Albion because we are going to be talking Albion, but we'll talk about other teams that are near and around us in the league and our current fixtures that are coming to play. Hopefully we'll be able to get some guests on the interview, like maybe some ex-players or managers or people involved in the club. Yeah, it should be good fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too. So in this first section, we're going to have a look and discuss our previous match performance, and we'll have a chat about the lineup and formation that Slaven chose to play in that previous match against Leicester. Unfortunately, it did end as a 3-0 loss to the Baggies.
Yeah.
Quite a disappointing result, as everyone would agree. At the end of the day, I thought, and while it was 1-0, I personally thought we had a chance to maybe equalise. But as we all know, with Jamie Vardy scoring 2 penalties within 10 minutes of each other,
it didn't help us.
Off the game for us. So I think, in all honesty, Leicester were the better team, and they probably did deserve the win. But I do personally think that 3-0 was a bit flattering towards them. The 2 penalties, on another day, we did those types of penalties. I think the players were a bit rusty that did commit the fouls. Like I say, 1-0 down, there's still a chance to pull a goal back and maybe get a draw out of the match. Coming into this match, I think every Albion fan would have taken a draw. But I think Leicester's proved what a class Premier League team they are at the end of the day, and how much our players need to up their game to compete at this level. They did tremendously well last season, but as we all know, Premier League football's a different type of football altogether, and keeping the concentration together for the full match, even just a spell for 10 minutes can prove costly and deadly. Certainly against playing against teams like Leicester with Vardy up front and their new player, that Castagna. So yeah, it was a disappointing result. I don't think we should be too upset, considering the quality of the opposition that we played last time out. What are your thoughts on that, Josh?
Yeah, I think if we look at the first half, we played really well. We were probably unlucky not to go 1-0 up. I think it was Dara Roche playing the ball across to, I want to say, Daniel Furlong. That combination was working really well, and we were unlucky not to really capitalise from that because we had a lot of space down that right side. And going 0-0 at half time, I think a lot of West Brom fans would have been happy with that. Especially with some of the chances. I mean, Sam Johnson had a good game, good first half, managed to get some good saves, although they were pretty much straight at him. So you can't give him too much, but he's got to be there to make them, and he made them. I think the three line. I think the 3-0 scoreline was a bit flattering towards Leicester, but that's what happens when you give away 2 penalties.
Yeah. That's if the formation that Slaven Bilic chose to play against Leicester was slightly baffling, to be honest. Choosing a 5-4-1 formation, something that was a bit unfamiliar to last season's formation. So we've got Sam Johnson in goal. I thought he had a pretty much decent game. Didn't have any chance with the penalties, unfortunately. Vardy chose to go the same way.
Yeah.
with both penalties, and he absolutely did rifle a second one home. Not sure what he could have done about the first goal either, to be honest.
Yeah.
I personally thought he had a half decent game, and again, bit of a baptism in fire
Yeah.
for him in the
Yeah.
Premier League.
We can't really forget that there were probably at least half the squad making their full Premier League debuts on the day.
That's right.
Because we've been in the
Yeah,
Championship for we're in the Championship for 2 seasons, so a lot of the players who were there have been and gone. I know
yeah,
there's probably only, from looking at the lineup, I think Bartley, Gibbs, Livermore, and maybe Robin or Dean Garner had played in the Premier League before, but other than that, our whole lineup
yeah.
was pretty much making their debuts.
Yeah, I think Dean Garner has played about 12 matches for West Ham first team in the Premier League, hasn't he?
Yeah, something like that. But
Like that. So,
that would have been 2 seasons ago when
yeah,
the season we
yeah,
didn't have him on loan, so he wouldn't have had an awful lot of experience.
yeah. So our back five was Darnell Furlong, Sammy Ajay, Carl Bartley, Dara Roche, and Kieran Gibbs. So, you've got any thoughts on any particular performance out of the back five stands out to you? Or I know Carl Bartley's had a bit of constructive criticism, shall I say, about the first penalty.
Yeah.
But I thought he had a half decent game, to be honest.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the more experienced guys at West Brom. But I think it just wasn't his game, or it wasn't his half. Because their defense was
Certainly
pretty.
the second half.
Yeah. I don't really know. I think they all played well, considering it's the first game, and I can't forget that this Leicester team was in the top four for all but one game really last season, slipping out of the out of the Champions League spot on the last day, and so we know that they've got very good quality, and I think they did well to last as long as we did. But it just as towards the end of the game, it was a bit men against boys. So
yeah, you could certainly have that feeling towards it. In midfield, we've got Matis Piera, and Grady Diagana. And personally speaking, I thought it was such a relief having signed Piera and Diagana at the window. I really couldn't see where we was going to get the quality from.
Yeah.
Until those signings were confirmed. So I think West Brom have done really well in capturing the signatures. Although I know that the Piera deal was already sorted out during his loan spell last season.
Yeah.
So he was under obligation to sign him. I'm just glad they managed to find the funds to sign Piera and Diagana. And it was great to see Grady back on the pitch in an Albion top, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a sight not many people were thinking 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. We got him back.
I didn't think it was going to be possible, but they certainly pulled it off, and I'm not too sure why David Moyes has decided to sell him, to be honest, because I think he's going to prove to be a great asset for the club in the coming months and years, to be honest. So quite happy with the midfield.
Yeah, I think
they did seem to be. Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, I think the midfield did really well. We lacked a bit in the final third, not many actual chances, but then this Leicester team does have a strong defence with players like Suyunshu in centre back and in Ndidi. So it is quite hard to make chances against Leicester and make them count. But I think they did create some very good chances, and they were unlucky. But again, they do have Schmeichel in goal, one of the best Premier League goalkeepers around at the minute. So I think if this was against a club like maybe Sheffield, we would have got a good result out of it on the opening day. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, that's right. And up front by himself was Callum Robertson. Again, great to see him come and sign a full contract with the club.
Hmm.
Obviously proves he wants to play for the club, which is always nice to see.
Yeah.
He was replaced on the hour mark by Robson Carney.
Hmm.
But again, he did the best he could. But I always feel playing a 5-4-1 formation, it can be very lonely for an attacker to
Yeah.
lead the line by himself, and really does need the support of the wingers and the midfield. And I felt he was pretty much up front by himself, and it's a big expectation and a big ask
Yeah.
to ask from a striker playing by himself. So I'd probably like to see a change in the formation for our next game against Everton,
Yeah.
and look to see if we can support the striker. Um,
Yeah. I
again,
agree.
support the system with more crosses. We want him in the box, not actually holding the ball up when the
Yeah.
ball's pumped up to him. I think it would be better if he was a bit more attack-minded and actually provided him with the crosses and the passes to run onto
Yeah.
to break through the defence. So
Yeah.
again, a very difficult game. Just Leicester are no mugs, and they defended really well to
Yeah.
cancel out our attack. What attacks we did have. So,
Yeah, definitely. And I agree. It's quite a tough job being a lone striker in the Premier League. Not many strikers are able to do it, but I know that West Brom, looking at their history, they normally do a lot better when there's two up front. And I always think that having two up front, having a player like Charlie Austin being able to hold the ball up and then play it on to someone, because Robinson is a really quick runner. So being able to do like 1-2s with him, with Charlie Austin, would, I think, benefit them, and could cause quite a good attacking duo for us. But the formation wouldn't have allowed that on Saturday. So I do think that's something that we need to switch about.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So moving on to the summer transfer window then. I know there's
Yeah.
a few days left still of the transfer window, which is still open, but just going through the players that we have signed and confirmed. Obviously, we just mentioned Callum Robertson for an undisclosed fee from Sheffield United, which I believe seen Oliver Burke move in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
How do you rate that transfer, Josh?
I think that is a very good bit of business from West Brom and maybe Sheffield as well. Obviously, we know what Robertson's capable of. He scored quite a few goals for us, and a very important goal at the end of the season for us that saw us go up to the Prem. And Oliver Burke was our record transfer, but unfortunately things didn't really work out for him at the club. So in that respect, it's probably a good thing that
Yeah,
he's got a good fresh start down at Sheffield. But it would have been interesting to see what would have happened had that deal not gone ahead, and if we would have kept Oliver Burke, would he have gone
yeah,
out on loan? Would he have stayed at the club and be a bench warmer again? So I think it's a good bit of business
yeah.
between the
I
clubs.
think he would have gone out on loan again. So I think it was a win-win for both players.
Mm.
And again, it was nice to see a player coming back after having a loan spell last season. Obviously, he believes in Slaven Bilic and
Yeah.
wants to play for the club. And I'd much rather have a player
Hmm.
play who wants to play
Yeah.
for the Blue and White Stripes. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, it took,
We then got
I was going to say it took
carry on.
Callum Robinson a week to take off his Albion shirt after we got promotion. So it's good to see that he's back in it.
Yeah, definitely. We then got for a fee of around 900k David Button
Hmm.
from Brighton, goalkeeper, to give Sam Johnson a bit of competition and a bit more experience. Obviously, a very experienced Premier League goalkeeper
Yeah.
with a number of caps for Brighton. So again, I'm not too disappointed with this signing.
Yeah, it's not too
It's
bad
good
at
to
all.
see.
I would have liked to see Ramsdale come in, but obviously he went to Sheffield, so he wasn't able to take from Bournemouth. But I know that Ramsdale is a West Brom fan from what I've seen online, so it would have been good to have him in the club because I know that he probably would have wanted to play for the shirt, and it would have pushed Sam Johnson even more because they are around similar ages, and it would have been good competition for the both of them. But that probably wouldn't have been the best for club morale as two top goalkeepers in the same club. One probably wouldn't have been wanted to start more than the other. It could have caused a bit of disruption in the changing room. And David Button does have a lot of experience in England goalkeeping, so that is a good transfer. And for today's standards, a very cheap price.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if he plays, if he gets selected and plays against Harrogate in the EFL Cup tomorrow night.
Yes.
Or whether he's going to stick with Sam Johnson for that match. We'll see how many games David Button gets over the course of the season, and we'll be looking out with interest to see how he performs.
Most definitely.
And then our other signings is again, we played at the weekend, Grady Diagana. Personally delighted that he signed for the club, and again, obviously shows that how much he wants to play for Slaven Bilic. And watching the celebrations of our promotion at the end of last season, I think that everyone could see how much he does like the fans and likes the club, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
he does. Delighted that he signed.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking from what he was hoping for, I don't think he was expecting this move to come about. But for some reason, the West Ham board accepted the bid, and he's now coming our way. He is down with us, and I think looking at it, he wouldn't say no to the move anyway if the bid was right, and the bid was right. Obviously, he had a great season with us last year, effectively winning us promotion by himself on the final day, getting a goal and assist, and he does love the fans from what I can see. And he's definitely a fan favourite for sure. I know he's got his own song, which not many players get. And yeah, I think it's great stealing
all the times you
go.
Yeah, all the times we went to the matches when we was able to go last season, and I personally was a delight to watch in the matches. That I know he was injured for a few matches towards the end of the start of the lockdown. So he did miss a few games, but the games that we watched him play in live at the Hawthorns was absolutely electric.
Yeah, definitely.
In those performances. So let's hope we can continue with that type of performance for us. Over the course of the season.
Yeah, I think it's great that we've managed to. Before we move on to the next player, I think it's great that we've managed to steal a potential relegation rivals player off them, one that they all wanted to keep there. So I think it's good that we've managed to cause a bit of squad, turn that into a bit of disarray during the season. Hopefully we could then nick some points off of them as well.
Definitely. And moving on, then we've got Cedric Kipri.
Yeah, Cedric Kipri from Wigan Athletic.
For around again £900,000 from Wigan Athletic. Centre back, quite a powerful centre back from what I've seen of him.
Yeah, he had a great end of the season, but unfortunately, due to Wigan circumstances, they went down. So I think we managed to get a good steal there. Very young, he's 23 years old. So it'll be interesting. But he does look like a strong figure, and I think him and Semi Ajayi next to each other would be quite a formidable defence.
Again, so it'll be interesting to see if he gets selected tomorrow night against Harrogate, and we'll be watching his future develop at the Albion with hopefully great enthusiasm, and he can settle into a solid back line.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll see how he performs. And again, outstanding player. Really delighted that we managed to capture his signature and match his Piero. What are your thoughts on Piero, Josh?
No, I think in terms of modern day football, it's been an absolute steal. He got the record assists for record amount of assists in the Championship last year. If he was English, he'd have gone for 40 million.
I believe he was second only to Kevin De Bruyne in assists throughout all of the divisions.
Yeah,
which is quite a pretty good
yeah,
statistic if you ask me.
Yeah, it's quite a promising sign when you sign someone like that, and I don't know.
Again,
everyone knows
a
about him
nice,
down at West Brom.
exciting, a nice, exciting young prospect that I'm not too sure how many years he signed up for. Is it about 4 years? I think he signed 4 or 5 years for a fee of around 8 million from Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah.
Sporting Lisbon, I think it was.
Yeah, it was Sporting.
So again, very exciting player, and it'd be great to see if he can turn some of his performances from last season into a real Premiership player this season. So that's who we've signed so far.
Oh, we've got another one. You're forgetting our latest one that was announced earlier today.
Well, what's this, Josh? Who's the latest one that we've signed? Has this been today?
Yeah, it's Branislav. Well, it was announced today, but I'm sure the deal was done a few days ago. But that was Branislav Ivanovic from Zenit St. Petersburg, formerly of Chelsea. He's come in, I think, I'm assuming he'll be a centre back now instead of his former right back, but he's good experience behind him. He's won the Premier League many times. He's won the Champions League, I believe. He's definitely won the Europa League with Chelsea. So he's got a good CV behind him. He's probably probably the oldest player at the club now. Yeah, he's around 36 years old now, so he's getting on, but he'll be able to.
But still, his experience in the dressing room, I'm sure, will be invaluable.
Yeah, and I'm sure that
the younger players.
Yeah, I'm sure someone like Dara O'Shea will be able to learn quite a lot off of him because he plays a similar centre back, full back role. So very good for the club.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we can have a decent couple of seasons out of him at least. Then.
Yeah.
And is there another player that we forgot about? What was the status of Kamil Grozicki? Has he rejoined us?
He's on but he was on the bench against Leicester, so I couldn't remember if we got him on loan or if we had signed him permanently in January, but he's at the club still. He was on the bench against Leicester, so I'm pretty sure he's still here.
Okay, so I'm not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still with us as well, but I wasn't sure if that was a loan extension or if he did actually sign a full contract with us. So,
yeah, well, I'm not sure. All I know is that he's with us at the minute.
Good, again, decent player, a good, decent attack-minded player, and lots of experience. I know he played in the Premier League before, and it's good that he's still with us. And again, it gives us options on the wings because he had an excellent end towards last season.
Yeah,
I know he didn't join us until January, but it took him a while to settle in to games.
Yeah, definitely.
But towards the end of last season, I thought he played outstanding and deserved to be in the starting lineup. So again, he can be a very exciting player on his day.
Yeah.
So out of the players which we haven't signed, are there any rumours in the rumour mill about any players that we are looking at or you'd like to see us sign?
Well, I thought I'd like to see us sign another striker. I know we are looking at the Huddersfield striker. I can't quite remember his name off the top of my head, but I think it's Callum Grant or something along those lines.
Grant.
Yes.
Yeah. But I read a rumour today that they were in. I don't really understand this rumour, but the rumour was that it was going to be a spot deal involving Charlie Austin moving in the opposite way for us to secure Carl Rent's signature.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the truth is on those rumours. I suppose we'll find out in the next couple of days. But
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
I do agree with you. We need to sort out the forward line, hopefully strengthen it. But this is what I mean. I don't understand the logic behind getting rid of Charlie Austin, who can come off the bench and can turn the game by scoring. We need players like that still. So I don't see what the common sense is in releasing Charlie Austin to get another striker in. Doesn't quite make sense to me. That's if the rumours are true.
Yeah, well, if the rumours are, yeah, I mean, if the rumours are true, I think it would make more sense for Huddersfield to take Zohore off of us, because I think they would want someone a bit younger than Charlie Austin. So I think that would make more sense for them. But it'd be interesting to see what comes from that, because obviously Charlie Austin was our top goal scorer or joint top goal scorer last year, with most of his goals coming off the bench. So
yeah,
we do need to keep him, I think. And he's got very good. He's played with QPR and Southampton in the Premier League, so he's one for the squad, really.
Yeah, certainly. And the other rumour that's been going around is this young midfielder from Chelsea, Gallagher.
Yes.
I don't know if you've heard much about that.
I know that, well, I've seen some few things, and I've heard that he's chosen, I think he is going to go out on loan to a club. I think he signed a new deal with Chelsea, keeping him as the parent club. I believe that he has chosen West Brom as his loanee club. It's yet to be announced, but I'm expecting that will be announced in the following week or so. And then obviously, I think another rumour that's flown about is Filip Krovinovic as well coming back, but I'm not too sure if that one will happen or not.
Yeah, so I mean, that would be quite well back. I believe he's got a good friendship with Matis Piera. And they link up well together. So it's exciting to get Krovinovic back. And I do believe that you're right in that Gallagher has him to be his loan club for the next season. And I think that's just a matter of time now to get the formalities of these wages decided by clubs. So that'll be interesting to see how that develops over the next few days.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, definitely. So, I haven't seen too much of Gallagher. I haven't seen too much of Gallagher play, but I'm hoping if he's playing at Chelsea's academy, then surely he must be a good player. So it'd be good to have him on board.
Yeah. And again, it gives us options, and we need to strengthen the squad. So that's good. That's good. So, let's move on to season expectations, shall we?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a long season. That's what I'm expecting. We've got 37 games left to go in the Premier League, and however far we get in the cups as well. And that's providing that there isn't another full lockdown like there was last season. So we could be facing a very long season ahead of us, and I'm sure everyone is expecting us to go down, but I'm expecting us that we'll be able to pull an upset and stay up. So
yes, of course, the media have already written us off, and with pretty much every football pundit out there suggesting we're going to be finishing either 20th or 19th, which I think is slightly unfair considering we're only just at the very start of the season. As always, they don't give us a chance. But it would be nice if we could steal a few points off one of the top six during the course of the season.
Yeah.
We've done it before, and we've upset quite a few, what they call the big six. So We've certainly taken points off Chelsea and Liverpool and Man United, both got at home and away.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why we can't do that again. But I do think the most important games are going to be against the teams which are still going to be around us. So out of the Premier League, what teams do you think we're going to be competing with for survival this season?
So
To be honest,
I'm expecting we'll be battling it out with the teams we got promoted with. So that will be Leeds and Fulham. I think Leeds are an exciting club at the minute, but I do think that could have just been a good game for them against Liverpool. Sometimes it happens. But I do think that come the end of the season, they'll be floating about in the bottom half of the table. But I think Fulham will be coming with us.
Through the fixtures.
So
we've got the likes of Brighton and Hove Albion, Burnley. I don't know how Sheffield United again. They had an excellent season last season in the Premier League.
They did have a very good season.
But everyone.
Yeah, I mean they were in our position this time last year. Everyone was going to write them off on the first weekend, but they almost finished in Europe. So maybe we'll be able to do something similar.
Definitely. And personally, I fully expect West Ham to be down there amongst the relegation pile. That's just my personal opinion.
I think a lot of West Ham is expecting that as well.
I think there's a very good chance of that itself. So I think we really need to be on our game when we play at least those 6 clubs. And I think we need to be looking at getting all 3 points from those and then grabbing whatever points we can from remaining clubs, to be honest.
And obviously we want to be looking at taking 12 points from Villa and Wolves as well.
Well, that goes without saying, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult. I know I watched the Wolves game the other day. They did come out very, very strong. And then there's no 2 ways about it. They have got a very, very good squad.
Yeah.
At the moment, as much as it grieves me to say, but we'll need to be on our best form when, of course, we're still yet to fall at their first Premier League game due to their delayed start.
Yeah,
I mean, campaign. So
who knows what could happen? Yeah, who knows what could happen against Wolves because it's been about 8 seasons, I want to say, since we've last played them. So who knows what could happen?
That's right. Yeah.
That's
right. So my expectation for the season, would really like to see us stay up. I'd really like us to give it a good go, even if we lose some matches. As long as I think we're trying to play attacking football.
Yeah.
And if we do go down, but we go down fighting and we're not an embarrassment, then I think most fans would settle for that. But so I'd like to say 16 would be an excellent season for us. I think most of us would take that now.
I think if we can stay up this season and get another season of the Premier League money, I think we'll be looking at a much nicer season for next season. And I think a lot of clubs will realise that we are here to stay. But who knows what can happen in the Premier League? We can be winning the entire month of October and then lose the rest. Who knows? We never really know. It can happen to anyone.
Definitely. So let's move on to our next match, and obviously we've got Harrogate tomorrow evening in the EFL Cup. It'll be interesting to see what team Southern Billy chooses for that match. I expect he'll give a few of the Second team a bit of a run out during that match.
Yeah, I think it
But I
will
can't
be
see
a lot
anything
of
other
youth
than an Albion
players.
win for that match. To be honest.
Yeah, I think it will be quite a few youth players in that side, as long as some of the older players who haven't got as many games. So I reckon we could be seeing the debuts of Kipra and maybe even Ivanovic, and a few others. But I reckon it will be a game for the likes of Edwards, and other young players like that. I reckon Raheem Harper will start as well, but who knows?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
But like I say, I can't see anything other than an Albion win at home. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I mean, I
um,
I won't really mind
watching
if
that.
it. I won't really mind if we do lose, because it means we can focus more on the Premier League, and I think that's what we do have to focus on at the minute. Um, but it would be a bit embarrassing going out to Harrogate, so I would rather win.
Definitely, definitely. And then at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, we travel to Goodison
Yeah.
Park to play Everton.
Hmm.
Again, tough start for the Albion at the start of the campaign
Yeah.
against Leicester, and then Everton back to back. Everton had an excellent win over Tottenham in their
Hmm.
first match, winning 1-0. Again, a result which nobody predicted, but they certainly were the better team against Tottenham. So, how do you think we're going to fare against Everton?
I think this is probably going to be a lot tougher than we think it's going to be. They've had a very good transfer window, signing the likes of James Rodriguez from Real Madrid, um, the Brazilian guy called Alan from Napoli, and Abdoulaye Doucouré from Watford, who was probably their best player last season and the seasons before. So they've now got a really strong midfield trio out of nowhere, and they're also managed by the likes of Carlo Ancelotti, who is a top manager. So I think it could be a very difficult game. I think we could maybe cause an upset. I think the players definitely want it. I would definitely love a win down at Merseyside, but I can't see it happening. So I think the most likely result of this game will probably be
Sure.
another loss, but I think we could manage a draw at least with a strong defence, good back line. But
Yeah,
yeah,
just looking at squad from their match against Tottenham the
yeah,
weekend, and they had Jordan Pickford in goal. He played a blinder by the looks of it with a rating of 8.1. So you mentioned Allen in midfield. They played a formation of 4-2-3-1,
hmm,
and a debut there for Allen, and the new signing Talbot Lewin, getting their goal on the 89th minute with again a Richarlison man of match performance as well in midfield. So I think for us to get something out of this match, if they play a similar system, we'll probably need to look at changing our formation to something
yeah,
a bit more suitable to cancel out their midfield there, because it does look quite strong compared to our lineup from
hmm,
our match against Leicester at the weekend.
yeah. No, definitely. I think if they're playing the same back line in Coleman, Mina, Keane, and Digne, then I don't think one up top will be a very good thing, because I think just Mina and Keane, the two very big, strong centre backs. I think Callum Robertson would probably struggle against that. He could definitely outpace them, maybe, but I think
Yeah,
I reckon a formation along the lines of, if we're staying at five at the back, maybe a formation of 5-3-2, having three in the midfield and two up top, instead of
yeah,
three in mid, no, four in midfield and then one up top. Um,
yeah.
but
I agree. I'd like to see our strike guys a bit more sport, definitely, and that could well be the answer. But be
yeah,
interesting to see what formation and team we just picked
mm,
for Everton on Saturday at 2 o'clock. So prediction then, match prediction for Harrogate. What do you think?
oh, I reckon Harrogate should be a nice little 2-0 goals of both half to the Albion. If we're playing a
Okay,
youth
I'm going for
team.
3-0.
3-0.
Yeah, I think we'll be a bit too strong for them, so I'm going for a 3-0 for the Albion to march on to the next round.
Yeah.
And Saturday's result against Everton. What's your prediction for that match?
And I'd like to see a few goals in this one at least, so I'm going to go for a minimum of 1-1, but hopefully 2-2 for a nice, exciting game.
Yeah, yeah. I do think it's going to be difficult, as we've discussed. I don't think it's going to be easy at all. So I too am going to go for a very hard-fought 1-1 draw on this occasion. I'd really love to see us getting a win, of course, and getting the 3 points on the board. But
Yeah.
I think it's a bit too early in the season to expect that. I'll be delighted with a 1-1 draw. Looking at Everton's team again, as long as we don't get embarrassed,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too disappointed if it was ended 2-1 to Everton, for example. As long as we can keep the scoreline to a respectable amount. But no, I think we can get something out of the game if we play the right formation and the right team. So I'm going 1-1.
Yeah, I think West Brom do tend to play better away from home than at the Hawthorns in recent times. So I think without fans, it doesn't really make too much of a difference anyway. But yeah, I think we could be facing a tough time on Saturday.
Definitely. Well, we'll be watching it, of course, and it'll be great to talk to you about Harrogate and the Everton match with you this time next week, Josh.
Yeah, will be good fun.
And if anyone's listening to this podcast and you want to contribute, you can follow us on the website, which is wba.supportersclub.online, and you can email us your comments and thoughts to Talk Albion at wba.supportersclub.online. So get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us what your thoughts are on the matches and players and anything that you want to discuss about Talk Albion, and then email us.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It'll be good. Yeah, we'd love to know some of your thoughts on what's to come this season and in the next few matches as well. So do get in contact with us.
Excellent stuff. Well, it's been great talking to you, Josh. Okay.
You too, Dad.
All right then.
Cool.
Buddy, and I look forward to doing this with you next time to talk about the next games and stuff. Let's hope we'll be celebrating along the way.
Yeah, let's hope we'll be celebrating a shock win on Saturday.
Cool. Boing.
We'll see you next time on Talk Albion.